Hello. So, hello, personal finance class, and anybody else who happens to find this. I'm doing a short tutorial on how to use a Google Sheet budget template. This is not extensive. It will be pretty straightforward. First off, open up Google Sheets. If you have a Google account, then it'll save it into your Google Drive. So go to Google Sheets. I already had a monthly budget that I started working with. Oh, I don't want to use this one. Let's go back and do a fresh new monthly budget so you can work through it with me. So it says only edit highlighted cells. That's so that you don't mess with any of the formulas. Down here, you can see what your starting balance is. This is something that you can change. If you start the month with a certain amount of money in your bank account, then you can put it in there. Do not include your savings. Your savings going in a separate spot. So here you will be able to fill in various things. It does show a starting balance and then the ending balance for the month. It'll show a increase in total savings and then the amount saved specifically. This first page is the summary, and this is where you will do your planning. You don't put any of your transactions here, you just do your planning. As you can see, they have many categories. Now, in my class, we do have two other categories that we may want to put in, first being tithe. And this you can actually set a formula for, so you could set it as equals 0.1 times, and then you would set it for your paycheck or your total income. So your total planned income is what you can use there. So you can work through it with that. Now, if we want to, you can separate your groceries and your times whenever you go out. That'll be fine. So this could be your grocery category, and this can be food out. And then you may want to make a third category. If we're going to use a zero-sum budget, like how Dave Ramsey recommends, then we're going to have into savings. Some of these you may not use, some of these you will definitely use. So keep that in mind. Now, into savings, you could also set a formula for equals this minus, and then you'll do sum, and then do a selection, which would be every other category that is in. So in this case, it was from D28 to D40. You can always add more categories if you need to, but that's why there's also an other category. So here, you could do this, hit enter, and it already has that included. So given that these are both equal, you want to have a zero-sum budget. It makes your life a little bit easier, so you have every dollar assigned to a place. If you have every dollar assigned, then there will be fewer surprises. So now to actually get started doing this, here you can see that there is a spot for paycheck, how much you assume that you're going to get from that, how much you're going to assume you're getting from savings. Now this could be a very small amount from interest, depending on how much money you have in your savings account. And here it does say something for interest, and interest could be from your savings, it could be from other things. So this would be the value from in your savings account. This could be the value of the interest that you've accumulated. Now here there's a custom category as well. So let's say you do like odd jobs, but you also have other here. Something to keep in mind. Bonus is if you get any additional bonuses from work that could be contributed. Now, given that this is a similar thing to Excel, you can add additional sheets. This transactions page is where you would actually put each of your transactions. They pre-populate with a couple of them just to make it easier. What you do is you put the date of your transaction, you put the amount in said transaction, description of it. This is to help you keep records, and then category. Now, category can be broken up into all those things that you had as categories in your first page. And if you add more categories, it'll add them to this dropdown. And then for income, the exact same four things: date, amount, description, category. Now, if you need to do additional calculations, you can set it up like this. Let's say that you go with what was the national average, 39,000 for the year as your annual income. And then you can do you could take out your taxes and deductions. Let's just assume that that adds up to 28%. After a certain point, you have more taxes taken out. The lowest tax bracket has 18% taken out. And then after you go up each tax bracket, there's a few more percent that are added on. For this one, we're just going to assume that including your additional deductions for, let's say, health insurance, you're up to 28% of your income. That is not unrealistic. So we're going to have disposable. Remember, that's another word for your disposable income. That's another name for your net. And this is your annual gross income. Disgusting. How much gets taken out of your account? All right. So that's going to be equal to this times 0.72 because we subtracted the 28%. Enter. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to divide that by 12 so we can find our monthly. Obviously, if things change, then you don't know what you're going to get. So we're going to hit Control C. We're going to copy that, or Command C, depending on which thing you're using. And we're going to plug that in for your paycheck here in your transactions. All right. So that's going to go in as your paycheck value. 2340. That's your paycheck value. We're going to change the dates so that they're reflective of what time we're in now. Let's just say that you got paid on the 1st of the month. Actually, let's cut that in half. Let's say you get paid on the 1st and the 15th. So we're going to put that down here. 3-15-2020. This is going to be 1170. And this is also going to be 1170. That'd be 2340. Understand why this is in different format now. Whatever, it works. So here should be here we go. This needs to be changed to paycheck. This one needs to be changed into paycheck. All right, now if we look at our summary, that is your actual now. We were thinking 2340 as our assumed, and that's fine. And then you got that as your actual. Perfect. Now, your rent, let's say the assumed rent, your home. Now, this could be home and utilities in some instances, but here it's just home. Utilities are a separate category. Let's create numbers for this. Let's say that you would think you're going to do about $200 in groceries. Now, Dave Ramsey outright said, always assume it's going to be more than what you actually have there. Right now, you can already see that this into savings is very high. That's because we already we're plugging in values. Home, let's say rent, 1,200 is a pretty standard value for rent. Gifts, let's say that you set aside $10 a month. No, let's say $20 a month for gifts. Let's say you're just saving up for Christmas and maybe the occasional birthday or anniversary. Health medical, let's say you're setting aside like $50 because you don't know what's going to happen, especially with the way the world is going right now. Transportation, let's say you have $60 in for transportation. Personal, you just put like $20 aside each month. You could actually, let's say 50, be fair. Utilities, let's say that those are at $80 a month. Oh wait, no, because we're including telephone. So let's say it's uh, 180 because you have certain utilities that you definitely need. Travel, let's just say that you're trying to save for vacation, put $20 in there. Debt. Now this, let's say it's 300 for your car payment. All right. Other, you don't have anything. Food out. Now, looking at these values, let's say we actually cut down a little bit on the food grocery. Let's say we put it as 180 instead of that. If you look at your into savings, you only have $46 left. This is not great. What we want to do is make sure that we have a little bit more into savings, but for right now, this is not crazy. Personal, we could cut down on that. Let's say 30. Utilities, we're at 180. There isn't much that we can do for that because most people, their phone bill is approaching, it's in between $60 and $100 per month. So you also have to think about your electricity, your gas, and water, depending on where you live. Travel, you may want to cut that down to like, let's say 15. If you're saving that much for a while, then that's fine. Debt is 300. That's actually kind of low. Let's just go with this for now. Now let's create our actual transactions. Let's say our rent we pay at the beginning of the month. Let's say uh, it was 03. We paid, what day of the week would that be if it was the 3rd? Be Tuesday? Yeah. Uh, so we did that. Our rent is 1,200. This doesn't look good for the beginning of the month. Now, we should have some left over at the beginning of the month from prior. Let's say that we actually had $2,000 saved up. So the amount that we had in savings for starting balance equals, wait, let's not do that. Let's do it on this side. All right, set that equal to our initial value here, prior month balance, and that's going to go under savings. All right, now that we have that, you can see it has it here. You don't have anything assumed for that, for the planned. You're always going to have something, but you would rather have more. Now we're going to make a similar formula, actually Control Z on that. Okay. what we're going to do is we're going to just copy this formula into that block. And this ends up being the exact same thing that we did before. This plus minus the sum of all these. Right now, it's almost nothing. But as you put in your additional transactions that you would have for each category, it will add up. So we're going to do this. We're going to incrementally increase by days because that's what happens when we copy down. And then let's say you spend 80 on groceries, food, grocery, and then let's say that your car payment came out. That's under debt. And then travel, let's say you had to do $25 for gas, transportation, and then what day a week would that be? Let's say the next one would be your tithe for that pay period. So um, so we're plugging in the tithe for that. You put it under that category. And now we have a bunch of values plugged in, and you can see how it's already populated in the other, in that first summary slide. Now, if you go through, you can see that it's already shown you the planned values and the actual values on each side. You have into savings subtracted out, and your actual expenses, it says, are higher than what you have, but you also had some left over from your savings. I believe that you should be able to fill this out. You will have to fill out one of these and send me it. Save it as an exe file and send it over whenever you do, and put your name as part of the title of your assignment. Send it through email, and then I will be able to grade it, but you'll get more information about that shortly. Thank you,